Welcome, everybody, to Young at Heart, session number 164. I'm Father James DeLucio with the Paulist Fathers, back in the parlor, ready, willing, and able to offer you nursery rhymes, stories, songs, poems, Mother Goose, Aesop's fables, Lewis Carroll, limericks, larks, and such and other things to keep you and me young at heart. And I thought I'd say everybody today instead of everyone. Everybody kind of reminds me of everybody. And shouldn't we all be buddies here in this great adventure of life on planet Earth? Sometimes it's very important to keep opening up our horizons and realize that this planet is a gift to us, and we were meant to be gifts to one another. God bless us, everyone. Today is a fascinating fairy tale from the annotated African American Folktales, edited and with commentary by none other than the great Professor Dr. Henry Louis Gates Jr., and Maria Tatar. This one has echoes of a variety of different stories. So, by way of preface, think Hansel and Gretel, think Jack and the Beanstalk, all right? And think of other things, such as David and Goliath from the scriptures. And I'll let you come up with your own connections as you hear the story. The title, The Story of the Cannibal Mother. The story of the cannibal mother and her children. There once was a man and woman who had 2 children, a boy and a girl. The children went to live with their grandfather. Their mother was a cannibal, but not their father. One day the children said to their grandfather, "We have stayed with you long enough. Now we would like very much to go and see our parents." Their grandfather said, "Ha! Will you be able to return? Don't you realize that your mother is a cannibal?" After a while, the grandfather gave his consent. He said, You have to plan to arrive in the evening so that your mother will not be able to see you, only your father. Now the boy's name was Hinazinki. He said, "Let us go now, sister." So they left at sunset, and when they arrived at their father's hut, they listened outside to find if their mother was at home. They only heard their father's voice, so they called to him. He came out, and when he saw them, he felt bad, and he said, "Why did you come here, dear children? Don't you know that your mother is a cannibal?" Just then they heard what sounded like thunder. It was their mother returning home. Their father took them indoors and hid them in a dark corner covered with some skins. Their mother came in, and with her she brought an animal carcass and the body of a man. She said, "There is something nice here. What a nice smell it has." The woman said to her husband, "So, Hinazinki, what can you tell me about the nice smell in our hut?" "You must tell me whether my children are here." The husband replied, "You must be dreaming. They're not here." The mother went over to the corner where the children were hiding, and she pulled the skins away. When she saw them, she said, "Children, I am very sorry that you are here, because I have to eat people up, no matter what." So she cooked the animal that she had brought home as a meal for her children and her husband, and then the dead man she cooked for herself. After they had all eaten, she went out. Now the father said to the children, "When we lie down to go to sleep, you must be watchful. You will hear people dancing, wild beasts roaring, and dogs barking in your mother's stomach. You will know by these sounds that she is sleeping, and you must then get up and leave at once." They lay down, but the man and the children were not sleeping. They only pretended to go to sleep. The children listened for the sounds that their father described, and after a while, indeed, they heard people dancing, wild beasts roaring, and dogs barking. Then their father shook them and told them they must leave while their mother was still sleeping. They said their farewells, and they crept out quietly so that their mother would not hear them. At midnight, the woman woke up, and when she found that the children had left, she took her axe and she ran after them. They had already gone a long way on their journey when they saw their mother in pursuit. They were so tired that they could no longer run, and as she came closer and closer, the boy said to the girl, "Sister, sing your beautiful song. Perhaps she will take pity on us when she hears it, and she'll return home without hurting us." The girl replied, "She will not listen to anything because she needs meat." Hinazinki said, "Try anything, sister. Try anyway. It must not be in vain." She sang her song, and when the cannibal heard it, she ran backwards and returned to her hut. There, she attacked her husband and wanted to chop him into pieces with her axe. Her husband grabbed her arms and said, "Ho! If you kill me, who will be your husband?" The woman left him alone and then ran after the children again. The children were now close to their grandfather's village. They were very weak, and their mother soon overtook them. The girl fell down, and the cannibal caught her and swallowed her. Then the mother ran after her son. He fell down at the entrance to his grandfather's hut. She picked him up, and she swallowed him too. And then she found the old people and the children of the village who were at home. All the others were at work in the fields. She ate all the people who were at home, and also all the cattle that were there. Toward evening, she left to return home. Now there was a deep valley in her way, and when she came to it, she saw a beautiful bird. As she approached it, the bird grew larger and larger until at last, when the cannibal was very close to it, the bird was the size of a hut. The bird began to sing. The woman looked at it and said to herself, "I shall take this bird home and cook it for my husband." The bird continued to sing its song and said, "I am a pretty bird of the valley, and you have brought trouble." The birds flew slowly toward her, still singing her song, and when they met, the bird took the axe away from the woman and continued singing. The cannibal grew fearful. She said to the bird, "Give me my axe. I don't want your flesh now." The bird tore off one of the cannibal's arms. The cannibal said, "I'm going away now. Just give me what is mine." The bird would not listen to her and continued singing. The cannibal said, "Give me my axe and let me go. My husband is at home and he is very hungry. I want to go and cook some food for him." The bird sang louder than before and tore off one of the cannibal's legs. The woman fell down and cried out, "My master, I am in a hurry to reach home. I do not want anything that belongs to you." She saw that she was in danger, so she said to the bird again, "You don't know how to sing your song nicely. Let me go. I'll sing it for you." The bird spread its wings, and she tore open the woman's stomach. Many people came running out, most of them still alive, although some were dead. As they emerged, the cannibal caught them and swallowed them again. But the two children were alive, and they ran away. And finally, the cannibal was dead. There was great rejoicing in that country. The children returned to their grandfather, and the people came there and made the children the rulers of their land, for through them the cannibal had met her death. The girl was married to a son of a great chief, and Hinozinki's wife was the daughter of that great chief. And therein ends our tale. What do you think of that? Well, you definitely should have caught the similarities to Hansel and Gretel, and of course Jack and the Beanstalk as well, with the monster mother having the scent, that great sense of scent, that she could tell her children were there. She does make an excuse for herself. She tells the children, "Look, this is what I do. This I have to eat. You know, it's too bad that you came." And the sympathetic father, which was also part of Hansel and Gretel. And I guess in so many tales we do find the evil mother, not even a stepmother, a sense that children could be devoured by too much of the feminine. I suppose that's just one of many, many possibilities. But we often find giants and cannibals and people of great, look at all the Greek and Hellenistic, the Greek and Roman gods and goddesses, especially in their creation stories. They're all devouring one another. There's just something, I guess, a primordial fear that all these stories, fairy tales, deal with. I was thinking, actually, of going into the Bible in chapter 6. parts of that Genesis are very mythological. They're not meant at all to be taken literally. But you remember this one? It's one of the most enigmatic passages in all of the scriptures. It's beginning of chapter 6, verse 1. When men began to multiply on the earth, and daughters were born to them, the sons of heaven saw how beautiful the daughters of men were, and so they took their wives, as many of them as they chose. Then the Lord said, My spirit shall not remain in man forever, since he is but flesh. His days shall comprise 120 years. At that time the Nephilim appeared on earth, as well as later, after the sons of heaven, and did have intercourse with the daughters of man, who bore them sons. These were the heroes of old, the men of renown. What are we to make of all of that? What are we to make of cannibal mothers? What are we to make of these stories? Well, I hope they've got you thinking, and I hope they've got you feeling now safe and sound and discerning whether this is a good bedtime story for you and your kids or nieces or nephews or grandchildren or stepchildren or whatever children might be in your life. Or maybe you would like to refrain from sharing it with them and keeping it to yourself, which is partly why Young at Heart is geared primarily for adults. So we can have these conversations and decide, as we rightfully should, what's best. What are the best tales to tell the children? Thank you so much for joining me. This was a little longer than usual, but as some of you have urged, you'd rather hear the complete story than have it broken up into parts, and I'm always ready to oblige. Meanwhile, if you haven't yet, I've started my Luke Live series, and it's Monday through Friday. I'll try to have them up by 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time each day. I'm working on some this weekend, and some songs will be in part of that sharing of Luke's Gospel with you this week, and maybe a song or two at Young at Heart as well. Thank you so much for joining me. Stay safe, stay healthy, and God bless everyone. Bye.